Good morning, Happy Dosis. And Tina, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to this morning's Coffee Brew. Kitty-coo. Happy Gnosis. Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Good morning, Sprinkled Donut. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Paula. Happy birthday to you. Good morning, Colleen. Welcome to this morning's Coffee Brew. Hope everyone had a terrific week. Oh, the old bones are rattling. Ugh. Anonymous, hey, hey, hey. Say like kind of like Fat Albert, hey, hey, hey. Well, good morning. Welcome to this morning's Coffee Brew. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes, and then we'll get the started. Wait for people to pop in. Thank you on 54. Well, you're welcome, sweetheart. You just checked your channel. I was hoping that you had a new video up, but if you feel like doing it soon, that'd be great. Just love hearing your thoughts on things. Good morning, Kevin from South Carolina. Morning, good morning, good morning. It is below freezing this morning here where I am. 75 in South Carolina. I wish it was 75 here. 29 degrees right now where I am. I was going to say that I didn't turn the heat on in here until about 35 minutes ago. It's still cold in here. I'm a little cold. We'll soon. Anything you want me to talk about? Whatever comes to mind, sweetheart. Whatever comes to mind. Kitty-coo, it's almost 60 where you are. Darn. Double what it is here. 29 degrees and sunny and no chance of precipitation today. Later on today and tomorrow, I am playing in a golf tournament. So cross fingers that I do well. 75 degrees where Anonymous is. Tina Reddington. Good morning, Tina. 35 in southern Oregon. Yeah, it's only 29 up here across the border. Aw, thank you, sweetheart. 46 in Phoenix. Oh, you're freezing. All right, let's get this up and going. And hold on, I'm trying to get myself my little window here. There I am. All right, first one that in case you may have missed it in the media is Jim Jones was in the media this past week in the news. Martha Jones, the great niece of four of the members who were members of, and actually died in Ghana, has received a court order to have a mass grave to be examined for the remains of her family in Uganda. The chances their family is actually buried there is slim to none. They also might be buried in Los Angeles, California. Now, you need to remember that a lot of these people, when they were these bodies that were sent back from Uganda to the United States, a lot of they didn't know who these people were, and not a lot of families stepped forward. There were, quite a bit, but not nearly as many as they had for bodies. So a lot of them were buried in mass graves, or they are cremated, and their remains have sat on shelves in, at mortuaries for years. If they're not still there to this day, they were just unclaimed individuals. They did as much as they could to try to, identify the families, to get their remains back to them. But there were quite a few people that were buried, because they couldn't store their remains forever. But she has now received a court order to actually have a mass grave that's in Uganda actually examined. They're going to do, I guess, the first part is ground penetrating radar to try to find where the grave is. They know approximately where it is, but they don't know exactly. So, but there's a huge controversy when it comes to the Jim Jones, and the People's Temple and all of the remains. What happened to them all? Where are they? Who was buried where? Why didn't they identify these people? Because it's not like everybody had a driver's license on them, especially when it came to children. But she's got the first step down. Now she's got to get the State Department for the U.S. involved to actually, and then get forensics people to actually want to do it. I don't know who's going to pay for that part of it, but she got the first hurdle out of the way, because she's still looking for four family members, who were buried. Maybe they came back to the United States and are in a mass grave. Maybe they're sitting in on a shelf somewhere in the cremated remains, whatever it might be. But anyways, that was in the news this past week, and I've been following it. All right. Joshy Duggar and inmates who prey on children. Josh Duggar wasn't necessarily in the news, but his entire housing unit was. Another investigation has been opened by the state of Texas into looking into FCI Seagoville and the actual smuggling of magazines and other unpermitted material into the housing unit that was recently discovered. And this is his actual housing unit where he lives. Now, there are 24 individuals who live in this housing unit, Josh Duggar being one of them. He wasn't named directly, but the items were found within it. And in a community like that, you have to think of what it is, with the different cells and everything. If Dick, or Harry on the second tier has a magazine that he's not supposed to have, everybody knows that they have it. But Josh Duggar didn't talk to anybody, nor did anybody else turn it in. These items were found during a what they call a periodic shakedown of all the cells, where they go from cell to cell, and they look for contraband. Now, these magazines, what were they? I don't know. It doesn't actually say. It just says that another investigation. And if they do find out who brought these items in, they will go after them for either sanctions there within the prison. Could they lead to additional criminal charges? They could, but it would most likely not happen as criminal charges. They could take away some inmates, who are state inmates who are there doing, state time. It could remove their actual good time. Now, Josh is a federal inmate. There is no good time for federal inmates. But we'll see where this shakes out, this investigation into contraband that was found in his actual housing unit. Richard Allen There's two updates on Richard Allen. This is one of two. Be careful what you wish for. Through his attorneys, he asked to be moved closer to where the case will be tried. But additionally, what they didn't think of where they want him to move to is going to be closer for the state psychologist to examine him and actually do a thorough investigation in him. Where currently they're having to have people actually travel, and they couldn't get the certain investigations psychologists, psychological investigators to actually visit him. Well, now if they are granted the moving him to a location closer to where the trial will be, he's going to get those people who are not able to travel to investigate him and to talk with him. Mainly, they're looking to see if he really is insane. Is he able to aid in his own defense? He has been deemed, able to aid in his own defense to this point, but now he's on a hunger strike and he's, fading mental illness that has never been determined that he actually has. So that's the first update for him. Second one is his attorney has this past week asked for all charges to be dropped against him because two interviews that were done with people who know very little about the actual case, but they interviewed him anyways. Those video files were actually deleted, supposedly. Now, it has not been determined if both of those video files have been completed and all backups have been removed. The defense may have very well have received copies of the actual file, but the state themselves accidentally, allegedly, deleted the actual interviews. But unfortunately for the defense, they have a complete transcript, and both of those people could be interviewed again. But they did ask for all the charges to be dropped against him. Mike thinks that Richard Allen is innocent. We'll have to wait and see on that one, Mike. The Zodiac Killer was also in the Associated Press article that came up this past week. There is a group that has, let's just say that they're internet sleuths who have they work on and they talk about cold cases. And every once in a while, you'll see them pop up either as a commentary on Crime Network or a crime show. Well, this week they popped up. They said that they found new information about the identity of the Zodiac Killer. What they forgot to tell people was where the information came from. It actually comes from the transcript, which would be it's using the notes of Robert Graysmith, who wrote the book Zodiac, but the transcript is of notes that he took while writing the book. And it came from the information they say, that they found, this new information about the identity of the Zodiac comes from page 113 and 115 of the manuscript transcript that Robert Graysmith wrote. It's not new information. The information has been known forever. And of course, it points to Arthur Lee, and these are just notes that that Robert Graysmith took, but it doesn't mean that this is new information as in, this is the gotcha, that Arthur Lee was the actual Zodiac Killer. Because not even Robert Graysmith or the state of California was ever able to prove that he was the Zodiac Killer. But they of course, they went on, every damn, place that they could find online to talk about it, live streams, and they went on and they did talk shows, and spoke to media, anybody, like, oh, we got this information. This is new. Nobody knows this. But it's not true. Again, they took the information directly from those 2 pages. Of the actual manuscript transcript, if you will, of from Robert Graysmith. Chad Daybell. The very short list of attorneys has been turned in by Robert Woods to the state of Idaho who can carry out and be co-counsel for the death penalty, and are death penalty certified in the state of Idaho, and who have licenses to practice in the state of Idaho and Washington. Why do they need to be licensed in Washington? I'm not entirely sure, because the case, as far as I know, took place in just the state of Idaho. Maybe, state of Hawaii, but I don't know why he would need to turn in ones that were for Idaho and Washington. But he did. So it looks like what looked like a small victory, after Rachel Smith stepped down from the case, may not be so much of a victory after all, because Robert has and turned in a short list of those who can aid in the death penalty phase of the actual case. Now, is Robert Woods, you might wonder, is he certified to be death penalty certified? He could be. If to become death penalty certified in the state of Idaho, you must have tried or been a defense attorney on in so many cases and had so many hours of work. But he could, but he's just never done it because he's a prosecutor, and the prosecution itself, the office is certified to actually be death penalty certified. And they would bring in co-counsel on top of it all, to replace Rachel Smith, who was, death penalty certified. Now, she didn't reside in the state of Idaho. She's been traveling back and forth to this entire time, as co-counsel. She was actually second chair. There's first, second, third. You could have up to 7, or more, I guess. It all depends. How many chairs can you get around a table? But yeah, what looked like a small victory for Chud is probably not going to be a victory, because Robert Woods has already turned in a short list of qualified attorneys to take her spot. Alex Murdaugh. The judge in South Carolina ruled that he will not get a new trial. And if he wishes to appeal this ruling and the fact that he didn't get a new trial, he can do so through the Court of Appeals as one of his possible avenues to an appeal. And this was on the allegation of jury tampering, and said that he did not, and through his attorneys, were not able to prove that they actually, the jury tampering was enough to grant him a new trial based on what the court, clerk, and what she may have said or may not have said. It didn't qualify as evidence of the actual act itself. Jennifer Crumbley was convicted of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Now, this is the mother of Ethan Crumbley, who, Oxford, where he went to the school and shot up his actual classmates and committed this horrific act. The standard range in the state, and there's an asterisk there, of 2.5 to 4 years per count. That's per count. That's why the asterisk is there. That kind of ran out of room. This is the first time in history, though, a state, prosecuting attorney's office has sought charges like this, and it is going to set up a firestorm of appeals. This is not my opinion. This is just the legal standard by those who have the rights to practice medicine law in the state. It's overreaching in so many different aspects. There have been parents who've been held, legally and civilly responsible for the acts of their kids in the past, even school shooters. But to actually prosecute them for manslaughter, I'm only telling you what the law is, and the law there says that it's overreaching. But they did get, and got 4 counts of, guilty of involuntary manslaughter. I believe the jury was out for like 11 hours or something like that afterwards, while they ruled on it. So it does appear that they thought about it, and probably went back and forth pretty hard on, if she should be convicted of involuntary manslaughter. Again, the standard range is 2.5 years to 4 years on each count. All right, Jared Lysick is next to the last one here. Jared Lysick court hearing is coming up on the 21st of this month. So in 11 days from now, he has court. In case I'm gonna at the next slide, I'll put more information there. But Jared Lysick's pretrial conference will be on WebEx. You can watch it. I don't know if they're going to mute the entire thing, so this time it cannot be disturbed by those who are viewing it through WebEx, but it will be streamed on WebEx. And this is in person, and he must attend. Who his attorneys will be is unknown, but he must appear in person via WebEx. He has to be there in court, and it will be broadcast on WebEx, but he has to be there in person for this pretrial hearing in 11 days. It is at 1 p.m. In case you're wondering, I don't know who's going to actually be streaming it. If any, I'm almost guaranteeing, there's going to be some channels on YouTube that will be streaming it. But you can tune in yourself if you have, if you apply to have access to the WebEx. Now, all of that that I just said about Jared Lysick comes to me from Plunder. I reached out to Plunder because I wasn't, and my question was, I can't find the attorney on record or anything new about Jared Lysick, and Plunder was able to help me with that. I'm going to put, in case you're not familiar with Plunder, I'm going to put the actual link to Plunder's channel there. That is a link you can click on to actually, go check out Plunder's YouTube channel. But I want to give a big thanks to Paula for helping me, at least with that part of it, and when the next trial date is for Jared. Again, it's the 21st of this month at 1 p.m. and it will be broadcast on WebEx. So, thank you again to Plunder. All right, a little shameless self-promotion, because a lot of people have been asking me, why is it I only do content on Saturdays and Sundays? And that's not true. I'm guessing that those who only know about my Saturdays and Sunday live streams are not subscribers to my channel. So this is a little bit of shameless self-promotion of things that I offer throughout the week. Obviously, on Sundays, I do true crime trivia every Sunday night at 4 p.m. On the Pacific Coast and 7 p.m. on the Eastern time zone. Page 2 is what it's called. That's for my Patreon and channel members live stream. It's the first Friday of every month at 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern. 5 Clues to a Killer every Thursday at 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Eastern. Oh, that ain't it. I got more. Then there's a Coffee Brew, which you're watching right now, which is every Saturday at 8 a.m., 11 a.m. on the Eastern Coast time. And then there's 60 Seconds or Less Dumb Criminals. That is every Thursday and Friday at 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Eastern. And then throughout the week, I do documented true crime stories that, where I can document. See, that's the part that people, like, well, you didn't do anything Monday and Tuesday this week. Well, that's because if I can't get the documents, I don't talk about it and I don't cover it. I need the documentation to be able to prove it. I could rehash the news for you and tell you what everybody else is talking about, but I mean, I'm sure you have the ability to do that yourself. All right, this is a question from last week, a follow-up. The question was, how often do Lori, Vallow, Daybell, and Chad Daybell ever talk to each other? According to the Idaho State prisons, when their cases were connected, they were not allowed to speak to each other directly by phone, email, or by using what's called the state streaming service. It's basically tablet to tablet that are fixed to the wall. They can't pick them up and walk off with them. But that was when their cases were connected. Now that Lori has been convicted and sent to Arizona, the cases are no longer connected. She can write him, and she does twice a week, according to the state. And that's because they track the actual incoming and outgoing mail. But Idaho does not count outgoing mail or communication between inmates, attorneys, and others. So Chad could be writing her 4 times a week, 8 times a week. But there is absolutely no usage that has been reported for use of the porthole. So there's that. They can't track that. So I'm guessing that if they want to communicate through their porthole, they can as much as they want. So that's the information that I was able to gather about how often they communicate. She writes to him twice a week. How much does he communicate with her? I would hope that or assume that it was probably twice a week. She writes him, he writes her. Good morning, Mal Mal. Good morning, good morning. Judd Pippadot. It took everything that I had within me to not call him Turtle Boy. But again, everyone, if you're not familiar with Plunder, Paula Neal Mooney, you can go to her YouTube channel and you can find links there to Twitter, X. You can find I do believe Plunder is also on TikTok and Facebook as well. But will Chad's jury be aware Lori was convicted? Because that seems unfair. All right, Mike, that's a deep question. I'll see if I can answer it. But would they be able to bring into Chad's case Lori's actual conviction? Yes and no. They can bring into, if it comes up, if the door is opened by Lori's testimony or another testimony from another witness, can the state of Idaho in Chad's case say, look, she was convicted of all this, to the jury in Chad's trial? Yes and no. It all depends upon the context of the actual evidence itself. Will Lori testify against Chad or for him? We don't know at this point what's going to happen there. I personally think that there's a very good chance, when I say very good, I'm saying over 50%. I think there's a chance that Chad is going to reach some type of plea deal and just plead out on some charges and just take it. And then, in hopes of being released from prison someday. That's what I think is going to happen. Do I have any evidence to back that up other than my knowledge of the system, and he doesn't want to be, to get the needle in the state of Idaho or be executed? Idaho has the needle. They have the firing squad as their backup in case they can't get the sodium barbitol, I think it is, sodium barbitol. But if they can't get that, which they can't right now, is why they haven't, carried out any executions. Firing squad is number 2. Does he want to die that way? If he doesn't take the plea deal, you have to remember at the same time, Lori and Chad both had before they were ever caught, they had a date that they already had in mind that they were going to take themselves out of the picture. Yes, suicide. They were going to commit suicide so they could cross over to the other side of the veil. Have the two of them picked a different date, now that she's been convicted and sent off to Arizona to stand trial there? Will she do herself out, take herself out and him take himself out? Could happen. And I'm sure that they're watching it really close, especially since it's known they already had one date that they had planned on doing this. So were they adamant about the it was just amusing that why it didn't happen? Good morning, Reichardt. Welcome to this morning's coffee brew. I hope you are safe out there and warm. You know how busy those two were going to Hawaii, right? But back to your question though, Mike, about can they notify? I hope I answered that question for you. It all depends upon the evidence and how the evidence gets brought into it. You can bet your last dollar that Chad's legal team is going to do everything they can to try to distance himself from Lori and blame everything on Lori and Alex and not focus on him, that he had any part of it at all. That's going to be if they carry the whole thing through trial. And he's got an uphill, his attorneys have an uphill battle right off the bat, because you have to remember, Chad was the last person to be near the remains of JJ and Ty Lee. He was burning that stuff in that pile because of a raccoon, right? Well, damn it, Chad, you better find a raccoon's remains in that pile somewhere, because otherwise it looks like you were destroying evidence of the actual murder of Ty Lee and JJ. He was less than 3 feet from JJ's remains, and he was burning, a pile of brush and stuff over the remains of Ty Lee. How is he going to, argue against that he didn't know that, was there? It's his property. It's, if I walked outside of my fire pit and it was twice the size it was a week prior, and I hadn't added anything to it, I think I would notice that. If you don't mind, can Pippa email you her information to you, for you? Email it to me. Email swapping. Yeah. Pippa here's my email address. Yeah, email it to me and I'll send it on to Kitty Q. Not a problem at all. You think they're both beautiful celestial beings? Maybe the jails will give Chad and Lori conjugal visits. No. Mike, there are no conjugal visits in the state of Arizona or in Idaho. Oh, thank you, Pippa. How's it going, Reichardt? I'm cold right now. Hey, it's warmed up 2 degrees since I started, though. It's now 31. There's that. I got to be outside all day today and tomorrow, playing in a golf tournament. So I'm going to probably miss the Super Bowl. Oh, shucky darns. I don't really like Kansas City or the 49ers anyway, so yeah, I'm sure I'm going to hear or see a lot of highlights from the game tomorrow anyways. The football, American football. God, I'm melting it here in the land down under. Mel is melting. Well, at least they don't have the heaters on in your house anymore, drying it out, right? There's that, Mel. What's the tournament for? Just for fun, or Kitaku? It's just for fun. Yeah, it's not for a charity or a group or organization. They do it every year. They have one for the Super Bowl, and then the whole plan though is to get people, to not only play in this tournament, they raise money, but for the golf course, but they also then try to get people to come in. They have like a free lunch, that you get with your entry fee and stuff like that, and they get you to come in and spend money in the restaurant and bar and pro shop. But it's something to do. I think more women are watching in hopes of seeing Taylor Swift. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what the draw is between of Taylor Swift and the Swifties. I guess it's been all over my news feed for since Kelsey started not Kels. But interesting thing about the last name, their last name really is Kelsey. But the dad actually or grandfather dropped it and changed it to Kels. But anyways, but I don't get the whole thing about that. Who cares? At least for me, I don't care. I don't care about Taylor Swift. I'm sure my son or my daughter do. She's dating what his name on the team? Travis Kelce, the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. I had to think of, are they still in Kansas City? So many teams. It's like when I think of like the Rams, they're never going to be the Los Angeles Rams to me. In my brain, I always think of St. Louis because that's where the Rams started. I'm never going to think that they're the Tennessee Titans or the Titans either. I'm always going to think of where they came from, and the Baltimore Ravens are always going to be the original Browns, and the Titans, and and on and on and on. Good morning, Gayla. Are you a Kentuckian? Kentucky? That's all right, Gayla. You can always watch and rewind if you're interested. If you have the time, always watch it in review, rewind, or whatever they call it these days. YouTube's changed the name of it so many times. I'm always going to call it rewind, but that's what they call it. They used to call it, but they've changed the name to different things. Watch it afterwards, I guess. Call it whatever you want, huh? You need to head to the freezer in a minute. Oh boy, though. I used to love the St. Louis Rams, but the LA Rams had Eric Dickerson, and I loved his football style. Oh, Eric Dickerson was a hell of a running back, wasn't he? Yeah, well, bygones be bygones. I mean, they picked up and moved. The Seattle Seahawks almost moved to Los Angeles before And that was one of the reasons why Paul Allen actually purchased the Seattle Seahawks, was because the ownership group at that time was going to move them in the middle of the night to Los Angeles. My doggy has high maintenance this morning. I'll be right back. All right, Kayla. All NFL football is, in a lot of sports, is billionaires just trying to entertain and make billions more. I'll never understand why the NFL is a nonprofit. That is not a joke. The NFL itself is a nonprofit entity. They don't pay taxes on what the NFL makes, but they have it structured so when it comes to movie rights and television rights and everything else, it's not technically the NFL that is giving you the content. It's the owners of the teams and the teams themselves that are giving you the content. That way they don't have to pay taxes on the billions of dollars that they bring in every year. Weird, right? Yeah. I know people have been fighting for years to try to get a nonprofit 401c status. Has cement been around? Not today, Mel. I have not seen cement today. I'm sure I will, tomorrow or whatever. Good morning, Goldie. Goldie is at work listening. Well, good. Well, thank you for being here with us, Goldie. I hope you had a wonderful week, Goldie. I'm still freezing my butt off. 31 degrees. It's like walking in this morning was like walking into a refrigerator and then having to turn on all this stuff. I'm like, please warm up. I got the heat, the central heat and air going. But it's a pretty big, space to heat up in less than a half an hour. And you probably hear it, but behind me here, I have a space heater that going as well. Cement might be sleeping. Cement's usually taking a nap. I think the last time Cement said that their new rheumatoid arthritis medicine made them sleepy. I mean, I wasn't familiar with. I think Cement said what kind of medication it was, but it happens. Oh, you're welcome, Goldie. My pleasure. But I'm sure if Cement doesn't pop in today, I'll probably most likely see Cement tomorrow during the trivia night. I've been working the entire week, 11-hour days. Wow. I'm going to start driving in about 15 minutes towards Texas, where I deliver on Monday morning. I won't drive tomorrow. I'll be watching the Super Bowl. All right, Cart. Well, you stay safe out there. What is our trivia covering tomorrow? Tomorrow is The Killer Next Door. It's another collection, Kitty Q, of people who have committed the crime of murder, and their neighbors next to them never knew that they were killers, or that maybe they creeped them out and they're like, man, that person's, there's just something creepy about them, like that. They had that sixth sense about them. But they hadn't killed at that point. They didn't kill until much, much later, but people were still creeped out by them. That's tomorrow. The Killer Next Door. my wife works four tens every week, and then on Fridays they is overtime. It's optional, and they can work another 10 on Fridays. So a lot of weeks though she works on Fridays as well. So she works Monday through Friday, but through her union she doesn't have to work Fridays. So should be great tomorrow. Well, I hope it is. Oh, watch the show on TV, Will. Really shocking. Good morning, Sherry. We have a missing woman in Victoria at the moment. Went out for a jog near husband was has been missing for a week now. Ooh, boy. Well, I'm sorry about that, Kiko. I have so tomorrow's trivia is a collection. These are all questions. So every week I work on three different trivia nights at the same time. I work on the one that's going to be done on Sunday, and then I have two other ones that I'm as the week goes by and I find trivia questions, questions that would they'll fit like either Gacy or Bundy or whatever, and I find these questions as I'm working. I always have the window open, so I then add them. Well, sometimes these different trivia subject matters, the other two that I'm working on top of the one that it's actually going to be done that week. Some of them I just never am able to come up with 20 questions for or 18 questions for. Plus, on top of that is the did you know extras. So and after a certain period of time, I just stopped looking for them. So I have all these different trivia nights, and I'm not joking. I have at least 20, 25 somewhere in there of different trivia nights that I've worked on over the year that are left over. So I combine them all, and I'll probably never even get through all of 25 of the ones that I've been working on, that I've, at some point. But then I just put them together for a compilation night. So I have to use them up somehow. I get some use out of the work. So this week is a compilation, and next week is another compilation. And then I'm going to go back to just doing one subject matter on one individual. Will, you can always do a trick question. I could. Last week, I put some questions in there. They were kind of like trick questions, Mel. But a lot of people thought that last week's trivia was difficult the way it was. So I like try to keep them at a level that is more general knowledge. Maybe someone knows an awful lot about that general knowledge in that area, and then other people know a little bit about it. So the questions they used to pick are on a scale of 1 to 10, and I used to try to keep them at a 5, somewhere in the middle. But I don't use any of the other sites anymore. Now it's 100. All the questions are 100% mine. Keep people on their toes. All right. All right. It's not Lynette, but there. It's all a little flattened too. It's like a walking Wikipedia. It fell down behind the speaker. Ricky Jim Bob. Both of them fell down behind the speaker. They were on top of the speaker over here. Where's the front? There's the front. Am I pretty? That's going on your wall. Take a screenshot. I have a subscriber. I'm not joking, who has sent me a care package, and I have it over. I can't get it out right now. I'd have to move stuff to get to it. But they sent me a complete kit of paint by number, along with an easel. The entire package. They wanted me to do one of Bob Ross, and I'm like, yeah, but I wouldn't really fit on this channel. So if I ever do it, and I do appreciate it, and I did let her know. I thanked her very much for the the items, but it would probably go on CDXI now, one of my other channels. Might make it into a video. You go right ahead, Mel. Will, you look like a mountain lion. Oh, freaking Barry Morphew. I'm just having fun. That's what I try to do with the other channels. I have to keep it a little bit more content related to, on 401 now, I have to keep it more true crime, because every time I try to veer off, even just slightly making a joke, or doing a YouTube short or something, for this channel is even remotely, off of, normal straight, like, this is it. You get this, off that line. I get so much backlash from it. So try to keep it, as normal as possible. You'd always want to be Lynette. Yeah, it's got cobwebs all over it. I don't know if you can see that. You have the dust behind that speaker. I made your day. I'm listening on only now because I'm going to be beginning my drive now. Love you guys. You have a great one, Rykart. You stay safe out there on those roads of America. There's a lot of crazy individuals out there. Oh, by the way, side note, my truck was parked in front of my house this past weekend, and the damn UPS driver backed into my truck, dented the right by the bed of the truck. And of course, he drove off. Didn't even stop. If it wasn't for my neighbor and their ring cam, I never would have known who hit my truck. It was a pretty good dent too. But we were delivering a package across the road because we lived near a turn, and he backed up right into my truck and then went this way back down the road. But my neighbor's ring cam caught the vehicle, the UPS truck, and the tail license plate number. So I called my insurance agent, and they reported it to and we filed a police report. Hit and run. Never stopped. Nope. We don't know if he actually knew he hit it, but he definitely hit it. It's like, so here's where the bed of the truck is, and then the cab It's right there, just right into the bed. Can you, okay. All right, give you a screenshot here, Mel. Lynette, where's my $5? Mess my hair up. I don't want to not look beautiful. UPS drivers are always in a hurry. Sorry that happened. No, this is Rycar. This is the United States Post Office. Yeah, United States Post Office, USPS. Sorry if I said just UPS. It left white paint on my truck and everything. The transfer from the what looks like the back corner of so my truck was like this. He pulled up like that to around where the corner is, and then backed up right into my truck, and then went that way. Did like, so that'd be 1, 2-point turn, I guess you'd call it. I mean, my truck isn't anything special. It's a 1996 Dodge 1500. The paint's all faded and peeling on it, but damn it, it's still mine. Damn thing's gonna outlive me and everybody. Okay, I'm off to do things. Stay tuned. Won't tag you, so you don't. Cop of grief. You'll see it. Oh, Mel, I'll watch everything that you do, sweetheart. So I'll see it. I know I will if you do it. He knew he hit you. Yeah, we don't know because the vehicle pulls in this way and around by the corner, and you never see when he backs up. You never see you see the passenger side of the vehicle. I mean, clear as day. If you've seen a white UPS vehicle, there's no one else out there with them. But you have a great one, Mel. Thank you again, sweetheart. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Now I got that song in my head. It's right there. Hold on a second. Tony Basil. Tony Basil, I think it was her name. Hey, Mickey. I think that's the name of her name. Tony Basil. I can just remember the cheerleading outfits and they over the top like makeup. Oh man, whoo boy, does that bring back some memories right there. Yes, Tony Basil. I'm back. Says Gayla. Stuck in your head too, Pippa Dot. That red lipstick. I mean, it wasn't over the top like Tammy Faye Baker, like over the top like cosmetics, but it was definitely an out there. I mean, but then again, I got to put myself back in that era. I mean, geez, tiger stripes, parachute pants. Not that I didn't wear any of that stuff. There are no pictures to actually support that. But oh, the 80s. Ding, ding, ding. Giving away my age. Admitting to what, I remember from the 80s. Red lipstick and powder blue eyeshadow, big hair, Aquanet. Who remembers Aquanet? Or Paul Mitchell used to make one that was called a foaming pomade, and they also had a spray like Aquanet, but it was a pomade. Like God. Yep. There was no cell phones with videos back then. So there's no proof that it ever happened. It's just a bunch of people talking about random stuff online. There's no proof of it. Aquanet can. Oh my God, Aquanet. Oh, my hair remembers not moving. Oh. Aquanet. So what's another weird, a trend that I heard of. Shoulder pads for women and men inside of sports jackets. Don't forget about the crazy, colors of clothing, and fashion back then, with your, neon, electric, greens and pinks and reds and everything else. And rave. Rave hairspray. Oh, soft and dry deodorant. Soft and dry. Do they even make any of this stuff anymore? Probably not. Something, it in my mind that has never gone away, has nothing to do with fashion or music or anything, is like, for even after all these years, okay, things that have stuck in my mind are just bizarre things like Calgon, ancient Chinese secret, think that the commercials, I can remember in my mind the Calgon commercials, and and things like that from my youth. Why, after all these years, do I still remember these things? And the worst were legs pantyhose, or we got short shorts, Nair. We had the best of MTV. Back when MTV actually stood for music television. Yeah. I remember watching my sisters getting, ready for school in the morning. We used to have a bathroom that where the actual shower and tub and toilet was separate, and there was a door, and then the sink was out. There was a sink outside the actual bathroom itself, and the cans of Aquanet, and those scrunchies, the hair scrunchies, were all over the counter. I used to have to keep my toothbrush and toothpaste in a plastic container in the drawer. I couldn't keep it out there because I was afraid it was going to get Aquanet all over it, which is basically like lacquer. Oh, heck yeah, the Nair. But these commercials, they do loops in our head, even when a while after, we'll just say, but they're still there. I mean, television and music and fashion never going to be like that again. Oh, the days that are gone. We lived through them. We survived. Smoke them if you got them. I saw candy cigarettes on Amazon that I used to eat. I used to eat as a child. I sent some to my grandkids in Arkansas. We used to have a store here locally, Gala, that they were open up until about a year ago, but they used to sell nothing but the older candies, and treats that you may have be familiar with as well. Candy cigarettes, they had those there as well, but things you'd never find anywhere else. Do you think Lori really believes she had to save her children by killing them? Yes, Mike. Morris the cat. 9 lives with Morris the cat. But yeah, back to you, Mike. I do. I truly believe that she thought that JJ in particular was possessed. She really believed in the notebook of those of good and dark and evil spirits that her and Chad had made out, of who was a dark spirit and who wasn't. I think she really believed in that stuff. We also sent the kids bubblegum cigars. Meow 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 meow. Morris the cat was 9 lives. So isn't he still on the can or another variation of Morris? I mean, when it comes, but back to your, Mike. When it comes to Lori and Chad, which one was more culpable of the two? I mean, we know that Alex was the hitman. Alex was the hitman and the enforcer for everything. But who was the one? Chad came up with the idea first. Lori ran with it. They then used scripture and the outer teachings of the FLDS, to the fundamentalist LDS version. They used some from that. They used some from actual known cults. It's kind of like they cherry picked what they wanted to for their own belief system. And there's a lot of people that are like that in everywhere who don't kill their children though. But they truly believed that that Tammy and JJ and Ty Lee had to be sent to the other side so they could lead them. And that's where the Book of Revelations comes in, and all that beliefs there. That they were the chosen ones. So it's insane. Why would Alex kill them? Because it engraced him with them, so that he became more powerful in the afterlife. Pixie sticks last year for a party favor. I haven't had pixie sticks since I was a little kid. That's just pure sugar with flavoring and a paper straw or plastic. Later on, I think they went to plastic. I want chicken. I want liver. Mix, please. Meow, 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 meow. It's crazy though. I mean, there are people that are crazy when it comes to religion, and it doesn't have to be LDS. It could be. I know people. I've met people who are Catholic and Lutherans, who are They believe 100% of everything that that they read, and they live their lives and everything by that book. And I'm not telling anybody that you're wrong for believing what you want to believe, but you're wrong when you have to you hurt other people physically, or mentally. You hurt someone. Do whatever you want to do. Believe in whatever you want to believe. Just don't hurt other people. Do you remember Ronald Clark O'Brien killed the boy in Pasadena, Texas, with the big pixie stick? With news years ago, is Ronald Clark O'Brien the father who killed his kid, or he was trying to he wanted to get rid of his kid, but he wanted it to look like somebody else did it, or maybe I'm thinking of another case altogether. He worked for the Texas State Optical and was damn money hungry. Oh, no, I'm thinking of probably another case. There are a lot of sick people in this world who've done a lot of horrific things to kids. I'll never understand it, and I hope to never be able to understand how people get to that point. You know, but then again, there are people who do horrific things to those who are elderly as well. The vulnerable portions of society, the young and the old. There are people who've done horrific things to them. Anyone watching the Harmony Montgomery trial, Gala, I watched some of it yesterday on Duty Ron's channel. If y'all haven't checked out Duty Ron, Dutryron, Duty Ron, all one word. You can look it up on YouTube. But I watched some of it on Duty Ron the other day. But what it is, he's pleading guilty to abuse of a corpse and falsifying evidence or something like that. You've been watching each day and all day. What a fucked. Sorry for my language, though. What a fucked situation for for her to be in, though, little girl. Where were the people who were supposed to care for her, and be watching out for her well-being? It's just like it's an absence of anyone with a brain cell. That all they were worried about is their drugs and everything else. It's like, I believe Kayla is truthful. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, Gayla. I don't. It's hard at this point to to draw the line. I'm like, where, who is who's truthful, who is actually looking out for the best interest. I don't know. I mean, people come up with a story afterwards. Some of them are more plausible than others. Tina says she believes Gayla that Kayla is being truthful as well. I think she's telling the truth. It's just going to be hard for the jury because she lied so much. Yeah, it's sad. The CPS worker on the stand was a total shit. Isn't it right? Letitia, he's worse than Letitia. No matter what I think, she should be in prison for life. She did nothing to stop what happened. Started Harmony's faith by giving the dad custody and went downhill from there. CPS to Uncle, Kayla, and Adam. Very good point, Gayla. Very good point. Gemma! Thank you for the email. Well, I am replying today. Okay, Gemma, well, good morning and welcome to this morning's coffee brew. I'm going to be wrapping this up soon because I have to take off. I have a 10:15 tea time. I'm playing in a golf tournament today and tomorrow. You think are the two biggest worst liars is Jody Aries and Casey Anthony. I can't stand Casey Anthony. I'm not a big fan of Jody Aries either, but Casey Anthony, that's a giant piece of excrement right there. I can't imagine that. How do you do something like that to your child and then go party? Or party before and not give a rat's ass what happened to your kid? Maybe it's just me, but I'll give you a little bit of insight into how I think. You know, I read some of the most deplorable stories about what some of these parents have done to their children, or the lack of care that they give or show or love or attention to even their well-being, day to day, week to week. Maybe they're not beating them that day. Maybe they're not, doing this to them or that to them this week, But I look over at my son, who's 7 years old, and I say to myself, as a parent, I can't go an hour without, worrying, is he hungry? Is he thirsty? Does he need something? How's he doing? Even if he's sitting there reading a book, I want to check in on him. How do you, as a parent, from caring for your child to, you know what, they're gone. I don't care. How do you get to that point, from the disconnect from that to this? Or do they never even have that connection to their child? These are the things that always go through my mind and as bad as all these stories are, the Harmony Montgomery, case and all this other stuff that's going on, there are going to be 1,000 more from here on out. And we want to say it's the CPS worker who definitely screwed the pooch on that case, but why does it have to even get to that point? There should have been someone there to protect and to love that child from the moment that child was born through life. But in my mind, I can't make that disconnection to like how you go from this to that. It just makes no sense to me at all. Well, you're welcome, Gemma. I hope that you're finding some solace, and you're able to find a way to pay your respects and everything else to your nana. It's hard. It's really hard. It's not going. What I have to say is going to be emptiness. To you. You have to find a way within yourself, and hopefully you can find somebody to talk with about it. Law enforcement officer sees these evil parents who have done horrendous things to their children, and they still love their parents. Yeah, yeah, it's true, Gayla. And it's, and it's not the victim's fault. It's never the victim's fault, the things that happen to them. You see people on TV like, Steve Wilco, who are, where people constantly beat their kids, and they ask how old their kids are, and they always like say like 18 months. What the hell does a baby do? Nothing. Nothing. A cop actually dated Casey Anthony. Unbelievable. Casey Anthony actually has a license to be a private detective in the state of Florida. I'm not joking. She got state approval. She's bonded with an insurance bond, and she has the license to actually be able to, to do undercover work in the state of Florida. Now, is she actually practicing in the state of Florida or another state? I don't know, but I know she is licensed and bonded in the state of Florida to actually be a private detective. Is she doing that? I don't know, but I mean, if you think about it, anybody who knows about how to kill your kid, how to investigate it, it'd probably be her. It's usually moms who grew up in the system. Hmm. Oh, she is a private eye, Pippadot, wherever the hell she is these days. And wherever she is, I hope that nothing but the worst for her, for what she did. I don't have any. I don't have any mixed words for her. I think she's scum, and there's a lot of her family that is absolute scum as well. The only one who seemed to care about her child and grandchild is the mom. She's the only one who cared, but she could only do so much. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to end this, but I do need to take off. I hope everyone has a wonderful day today. I hope you're able to stay safe and warm and everything else. But I have to jet. I've got about a 20-minute putting everything together, and I have to be there. I have a 10:15 tea time, so got to take off, ladies and gentlemen. I hope to see you tomorrow for trivia night. Again, that's at 4 p.m. on the Pacific Coast time and 7 p.m. in the East Coast. Everyone, stay safe out there. If you have to travel, give yourself extra time. All right, everyone. Bye until tomorrow.